What is proof of work and proof of stake? Which is better and why? You ever wonder why Bitcoin consumes more electricity than the entire country of Norway or Argentina? But Ethereum successfully cut its energy usage by 99% overnight. When you really think about it, it seems impossible, right? But behind closed doors lies one of the biggest debates in crypto history: proof of work versus proof of stake. Both completely different systems that decide how everything on a blockchain works, from transactions to tokens. Both power the same blockchain technology on which cryptocurrencies run, but to complete their operations, one relies on raw computational power where machines fight every day and night to solve impossible puzzles. The other depends on ownership, trust, and staking users' tokens to keep the network alive. Both claims to be the future, but which one will truly win in the future and become the power hub of decentralization? In this video, I'll break this down simply, clearly, and once and for all. So let's get right into it. What is proof of work? Starting with proof of work, or POW for short. To truly understand this, I want you to imagine a global math competition where thousands of people from all over the world are competing to solve the same complex math equation. And whoever solves it first wins a really big prize. The players are called miners, and the prize that they win for solving the math problem first is a few Bitcoins. The miners use their computers to solve complex math problems, and whichever computer solves it first gets rewarded with Bitcoin. The work in proof of work is all the computational efforts miners put into solving that problem. Their computers work day and night to guess billions of numbers per second until one of them finds the right solution. When this happens successfully, miners are able to add a new block of transactions to the blockchain. To make sure that everything runs smoothly and there's no margin of error, this system is designed to have extremely powerful properties and requires high level of computational power, making it extremely difficult to cheat. To put this simply, if you're a hacker and you want to attack Bitcoin, you will need to control more than 51% of the total mining computational power worldwide. While the number doesn't seem too difficult to achieve, thankfully, it's also become nearly impossible to task given how massive the Bitcoin network has become, which stretches all over the world. But it comes with a catch. Proof of work consumes massive amounts of energy to ensure everything runs smoothly. According to a report by the Cambridge Center of Alternative Finance, the Bitcoin network consumes approximately 138 terawatts per year. To put this into perspective, that's about the same energy consumption as the entire country of Norway or Sweden. So while proof of work is incredibly secure against outside attacks or censorship, it's also incredibly energy hungry. What is proof of stake? Now let's look into proof of stake, or POS for short. Instead of running a global math contest, I want you to imagine this. There's a global lottery contest, and to enter this contest, you need to lock up or stake some of your money. The more money that you lock up, the higher your chances of winning or being chosen to validate the next block of transactions. Once you are successfully chosen, you won't have to do anything. However, in return of your efforts, you will be rewarded in forms of newly issued tokens, as well as transaction fees or tips. But here's a twist. If you try to cheat, your staked money, or in this case, your locked up money, will be taken away from you immediately. That is what we call slashing. In the cryptocurrency world, there is a significant advantage to running things like this because it uses significantly less energy compared to proof of work. Back in 2022, when Ethereum switched from proof of work to proof of stake, its energy consumption immediately dropped by 99.95% overnight. In contrast, that is like switching off the lights for an entire country. With POS, it's also very easy for ordinary people to participate in the network. You don't have to have expensive mining rigs or warehouses or hardwares or anything like that. To get started, all you need to do is just own some tokens and stake them. Key differences between proof of work and proof of stake. So, how do these two systems really compare with one another? There's only really two main differences that it comes down to, and let me break it down. Energy usage. As I mentioned earlier, proof of work requires a lot of energy to run its operations. In comparison, proof of stake cuts its electricity footprint by almost 100%. Hardware requirements. Proof of work requires extremely powerful GPUs, which can often cost thousands of dollars. Additionally, you need to dedicate rooms with proper cooling systems to house the mining rigs and all of that stuff, while proof of stake doesn't require any hardware at all. Proof of work, the gold standard of security. why users love it. When we talk about proof of work, we can't skip talking about Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the very poster child of proof of work. In fact, its entire value proposition relies on it being incredibly difficult to attack. Now, here's the main reason why Bitcoin's proof of work is loved by so many people despite using so much electricity. POW is simple and conservative. It's also battle tested many times, giving it a powerful reputation for reliability and trust. Proof of work aligns incentives. The miners are paid in the native assets, so their profits are directly tied to the network's health. Mining promotes geographical distribution, which also acts as a deterrent in an event of one country decides to ban Bitcoin altogether. Since POW requires real-world energy and specialized hardware, this ties the network security to tangible external resources. Many users see this as a superior guarantee of decentralization as opposed to staking digital assets. In short, many supporters of POW view this high resource consumption as necessary and intentional cost that helps create the most secure and decentralized digital money network possible. If you're finding this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I post clear educational explanations packed with value like this every single week. And if you're interested in buying crypto, I also have some referral links down in the description for some massive welcome bonuses. Proof of stake. Speed and reliability. When it comes to proof of stake, Ethereum is at the top of the list. This was not the case before 2022, but Ethereum had to take this step because of a few key reasons. It needed to be more energy efficient, more secure, and more scalable. And proof of stake offered exactly that. Many critics opposed this, but Ethereum didn't have a choice. You see, unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum works slightly different as it allows decentralized apps to be built on top of its blockchain. Having proof of work would mean network congestion and high fees. With proof of stake, Ethereum was able to offer layer 2 scaling with long-term roadmaps to increase its throughput. However, there are several trade-offs to proof of stake. The first is that several high-performing chains experience outages or instability when it comes under pressure, highlighting the engineering complexity when prioritizing throughput. And while it reduced Ethereum's massive energy bill, proof of stake's merge did not increase the number of transactions per second, or TPS, on Ethereum's main network, nor did it directly lower transaction fees. Now, both of these issues are addressed on ongoing developments on layer 2 rollups like Arbitrum and Optimism, and subsequent network upgrades like Dencun and Sharding. However, many critics question how far will proof of stake take Ethereum? What should you care about? I know it sounds complicated unless you're a tech nerd or a developer. So let me be brutally honest with you. Should you actually care about this? And here's the truth. If you're staking or mining crypto, then absolutely yes, because in that case, the consensus mechanism has a direct impact on your returns. But if you're like most people who only buy and sell tokens to profit from their price swings, then you might only be wondering, why is there so much emphasis on this technical stuff? So here's why. Yes, the consensus mechanism does influence a coin's price because it does affect transaction costs, network security, and even things like whether if institutional investors will be investing in it. But, and this is extremely crucial, a consensus mechanism is just only one part of the puzzle. The price is driven by multitudes of factors like tokenomics, community, real-world utility, strategic partnerships, regulatory compliances, and security audits. So while you don't need to become a blockchain engineer to invest in cryptocurrencies, but understanding proof of work and proof of stake gives you an edge that many traders don't have. It helps you spot which projects are built to last and the critics they get from professionals and which ones will quietly fall apart. Common misconceptions. Before we wrap up this video, I want to address common misconceptions. 1. Proof of work is always bad for the planet. This isn't always the case because miners often use renewable energy, which is pushed by miners opting in for greener resources. According to the Bitcoin Mining Council, in early 2025, 58.9% of mining now use sustainable energy, which is up from 36.8% in 2020. 2. Proof of stake is just a magic money printer. No, this isn't true either because staking still requires locking up value and exposing those validators to real economic penalties given if it's misbehaving. The rules equally matter here as well. 3. One will win and the other will vanish. Unlikely. While we can't say anything for 100% certainty, but one thing is clear. The entire ecosystem will benefit from diversity. Final verdict. Which is better? Unfortunately, there's no one size fits all in this scenario. But when opting for a crypto, here's a rule of thumb that I want you to follow. If you're opting for security and censorship resistance, then proof of work might have the historical edge, specifically Bitcoin. If you want energy efficiency and scalability, proof of stake is generally preferred. And lastly, if you're looking for speed and lower fees, then proof of stake and a layer 2 solution will win. No matter what, with all the ways that things are moving, we should be expecting the coexistence of all different types of consensus mechanisms, with Bitcoin's proof of work's digital gold and proof of stake's chains powering mainstream smart contracts, with hybrid experiments picking niches like DeFi, AI, metaverses, and so on. But remember, consensus mechanisms is just one piece of the puzzle when selecting a cryptocurrency to invest in, and you should always look at other factors before making a financial decision. And there you have it. So which model do you prefer and why? Let me know in the comments down below. And yes, I do read all of them. If you learned something new, then don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, feel free to share this with a friend who's always getting confused between proof of work and proof of stake. And if you want to learn how to stake your Ethereum to earn around 3%, then watch this video over here. Or if you want to learn how to stake your Solana to earn around 7%, then watch this video over here.